Hi there, in this video we are going to look at these kind of like overlay graphic transitions. Okay, we'll look at the ones built into Premiere Pro, where to import them from other free places, and when you do get a hold of them, what you can and can't change on the different varieties that are out there. All right, let's jump in. All right, so like you saw at the intro, we are doing kind of like a graphic overlay transition. So less of that kind of like cross dissolve barn doors and more of an overlay. And you will find lots online. Okay, there are like, you can pay for them, but there are actually some pretty good free stuff around at the moment. The kind of term you're looking for is graphic transitions, okay, or graphic overlay for Premiere Pro. And also maybe this word MOGART. Because without MOGART, okay, you might just get transitions like that Light Leaks one. That Light Leaks one here, remember, is just a graphic that we dump over the top, and we get some small control over the color. And say though, like there's lots of places to get it from. I get lots from Motion Array. They've got some really good templates in here, and you can see these ones are free. But let's have a quick look at these. Can you see they're quite like shapes over the top, kind of hiding transitions? So I guess there's lots of that sort of stuff, and that's what we're going to cover in this video. Let's look at the things built into Premiere Pro. All right, so let's open up our Essential Graphics panel. So this is where we find these kinds of transitions. The more traditional ones are under our effects, okay, and under audio transitions, and we've got our dissolves, and there's only so much in here that you can deal with, wipes and slides and stuff. So we're going to look at the window, and have I already opened it? I haven't. Essential Graphics, open that one up. Okay, and you've got Browse and Edit. Let's be on Browse. And let's look at Adobe stock. Okay, Adobe have some really good free ones. They turn this on and off every now and again. Okay, sometimes it only shows you premium ones. If you're in the future and there's no free option, dig around, it'll be in there somewhere. Okay, or go to their website, stock.adobe.com, and they have got free way of searching for free that way. If you do download one outside of this method, okay, go to Edit, go to Browse, and go back to My Templates, and you can see this button down here. This will import a MOGART. Okay, if you're doing the Light Leaks version where it's just a video over the top, just import it like we did in the last video. But if you have found a .mogrt, okay, you can click on this, import it this way. We're doing it slightly different. We're going to go to Adobe stock. We're going to say free, and we're going to try and put in transition. Okay, and see what we've got. Now I think by default, see the slider down the bottom here? I think it's quite high, so you can only see like one or two. So I'm going to scrub mine down until it becomes a little bit more appropriate. Okay, and yeah, these are my transitions, at least my free ones. I do have a premium subscription, so I could turn that on, but I know not everyone does. And the weird thing about this is previewing them. Watch this, you hover above it, you don't have to do anything. Sometimes clicking on it helps. Okay, and just kind of moving your mouse left and right. I'm not clicking, so watch this, I'll go to this one. I'm just moving left and right, nothing, nothing, nothing. Depending on your internet connection and how well Premiere Pro decides to play today, okay, it will preview it. The other thing to note that often the transition happens in the first little bit of the video, so make sure you're scrubbing in this first like little corner. And when I say scrubbing, I'm just moving my mouse back and forth, and you'll notice that it's not working. Click on it, come on. Oh, it's at the end, this one. Oh, in the beginning. Okay, they are tricky to preview. Hopefully this gets better in the future. But all right, so those are the previews. When you're ready for one, hit this little icon here, this little cloud license and download. Okay, because we're on free, we don't actually have to pay it out of our license. I've downloaded this one to start with. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to show you two variations that you're likely to get from Adobe. So to use them, once it's downloaded, you get a little tick, and you can drag them on. Okay, I'm going to use it to straddle this here. Okay, and basically that's it, if it works out of the box. Let's have a look. I've got some in and out points. Let's clear that. Let's set some in. Remember, I for in and O for out to set some in and out points. Hit the return key so it renders it nice and smoothly, and it's going to loop. You can see that's my transition. I'm going to use that to hide the the shift between two different clips. You'll notice instantly it's too small. Okay, so what I'm going to do is right click the clip. Okay, it might be too big, depending on which one you get. Remember, set to frame size. Okay, and now let's enter. It's going to render. It's a really quick render because it's only doing some real basic graphics. Okay, I guess the trouble with scaling it up, it depends on how it's made. Okay, this one here has been made in After Effects. So there are some little glitches on the edges here, a bit of pixelization, and if for my purposes here, it's moving too fast and I don't care enough to go and find a 4K version of it. Okay, but you might, depending on what you're doing. So that's one version. You'll notice here that I have some controls. Okay, so with it selected, I'm under Edit. You can see I can change the color here. Okay, so I can go, you know how to change color. Okay, okay, and it's going to go and change it. Oh, horrible. Okay, but know that you can. Now, the one thing about it is, can you see there's a note that says, colors 1 and 2 blend to make another color? Okay, so these two obviously, how bad can I make it? Yeah, red and green. Ooh. Yeah, it's bad. So you get some control. That's because this thing here was created in After Effects. Okay, this one here, this Essential Graphics template, was created in After Effects, and the creator of it only gave us some controls. Okay, the creator can decide on how much complexity we can change. So that's bad and good. Okay, it's nice and clear. They've given us color changes, which is handy. You might not even get that. You might find a template and it's got nothing. You're like, why can't I find the changes? It's because the creator of the Mogart said no changey. Okay, and you're stuck with whatever they've decided on. Okay, so this one has a limited control, and yeah, there's not much else you can change. Let me show you another one that was being made natively inside Premiere Pro. Okay, for us here in Premiere Pro. So let's find another one. Let's go back to my browse. Let's go to free. I've already found one that had it. Where was it? That one there. Okay, I'm using Circle Pop Transition. I've downloaded it. I'm going to, oh, before we do that, notice in my project file, can you see I've got this new folder? Okay, when I downloaded this, or when I dragged it onto my timeline, it ended up in here. So if you're looking for it, okay, that's it here. Okay, this thing's the bit that came across from After Effects. Is actually a little bit of footage. The difference between bringing something in from Premiere Pro, let's have a look here. I'm going to drag it over this one. You'll notice that nothing appeared in here. Okay, so the way that they're created will give you a different result in the end. And in this case, let's set my endpoint. Remember I and O. Okay, I'm going to hit return. That's my transition. Okay, now the difference between this and the other one is there's a lot more control. I'm going to select it. I'm going to go to my edit. Can you see here? Turquoise circle, yellow circle, orange circle. Not just the colors, but let's move to a point where I can see it all. So my turquoise circle, I can change the size of it, the position of it. I get a lot more control, mainly because somebody used the Essential Graphics panel to create this, okay, and not After Effects. Why would you do either? After Effects gives you a lot more scope for motion graphics, a lot more cool things you can do. But something simple like this, it's great that it's been done in Premiere Pro because I have all this control. I can distort it, I can change it, I can play with the scale, the color, I can add a stroke to it if I need to. Okay, so there's a lot of control here. The other thing I'm not reluctant to show you, but I don't want to get into right in this video, is easing. We're going to look at it later on in the course. There's going to be a whole section here with motion graphics. So look down in the timeline for things like keyframes and easing in the video playlist if you want to jump ahead to that. But I just want to quickly point you in the right direction at least. I've got it selected. I'm going to go to Effects Controls, and you'll notice, and it depends on how toiled down this might be. Okay, you can see I've got those three shapes, okay, that do this transition, and you can see over here, I'm going to hit my tilde key, my keyboard, the little wavy thing, okay, and you can see there's all my keyframes. So I can twirl this down, and I can start to see the easing that's gone on in them and the timing, so I can start playing around with the timing, okay, and adjusting the easing, add my own keyframes. At the moment it's just scale. You can play with the position, but again, we're not going to cover that right now. What have I done to it? Wrecked it. Okay, so those are different transitions that you might get from definitely from Mogart. Okay, Mogart's going to give you some sort of control. If it's from After Effects, you might have just as much as this. Okay, potentially, depending on who created it. If it's Premiere Pro created, you get all this lovely good stuff. One thing you might do is for either of these ones here is changing the timing. Like this After Effects one, you might be like, oh, I need it to be longer or quicker. You can kind of like, I don't know, fudge it. You can grab the rate stretch tool. Let's try and figure out where it is. I don't use this very often. There's a rate stretch tool. Okay, and I can make it longer and it will slow it down. Okay, it's kind of messing with the original file, depending on how, if you just need it to change a little bit, nobody will notice. Okay, so I'll make it longer. E for my selection tool, drag it so it's a bit more in the middle. You'll notice it takes a lot longer. In and out, return. So we've messed with the, we've slowed it down. The problem with slowing this one down is that because it was made for HD, you can start to see a little bit of the pixels on it. How much does that bother you for your project? When it's going slow like that, I'm still okay with it. Actually, no, I probably wouldn't get away with that. It's too slow, a little bit pixelated. How would I fix this? I'd probably just go make my own in Premiere Pro, which would take me a couple of hours, which wouldn't be fun. Or I'd try and find another one that was close to it. All right, so that's it. So that is using kind of free template transitions from either Adobe, using our Essential Graphics browse option, okay, or going and find them called Mogarts and just make sure you go browse, my templates, and you can upload them using this. All right, that's it. I'll see you in the next video.